it. There are some places where the veil between the living and the dead is so thin you can almost feel it. It was a night colder than death itself, the kind of cold that seeps into your bones and makes you question if you're truly alive. For 4 friends, tonight would be much colder than any other. The wind whispered through the trees, carrying with it something far darker than silence. Their small town had its share of spooky stories, but none were as chilling as the tale of the house at the edge of the dark forest. Some said it was cursed, others that it was haunted. What everyone agreed on was that no one should ever go near it. Yet here they were, about to defy the warnings of generations past. It all started as a joke, a dare really. Who would willingly set foot in that forsaken building? All 4 of them had grown up hearing the same story about the home, the legend of the screaming woman who vanished without a trace. Curiosity got the better of them. Dare after dare, they decided to put their fears aside and venture into the abandoned place. None of them knew their lives were about to change forever. As they approached the house, the sky grew darker. The forest seemed to be closing in around them. If this was a game, someone had turned the difficulty level to nightmare. Their footsteps echoed in the oppressive silence, each step taking them deeper into the abyss. The first floorboard creaked under Liam's weight. It was a sound that seemed to reverberate through his very being, sending a shiver down his spine. As he stepped further into the room, the floorboards groaned again. It was a subtle sound, yet in the heavy silence of the abandoned house, it felt like a scream. He turned to his friends, their faces illuminated by the faint glow of their phone screens. They looked back at him, their expressions mirroring the fear that was starting to take hold. As they cautiously made their way through the house, the air grew colder. It was a chill that had nothing to do with the autumn night outside. The temperature had dropped dramatically, making the hairs on Liam's arms stand on end. They were in an enclosed space, yet the air felt heavy, as though the very walls were pressing in on them. It wasn't just the atmosphere. Strange markings covered the walls as if someone had tried to etch their way out of the house. Then there were the footsteps. At first, they were hesitant, like mice scurrying in the walls. But then they became more pronounced, echoing in the hallways, following close behind them. They didn't dare turn back. What if it was her? The thought sent a jolt of fear through them. They quickened their pace, their footsteps pounding on the wooden floor, desperate to escape whatever or whoever was haunting this place. Decades ago, the villagers had spoken of a woman who met a gruesome end within these very walls. They called her the Screaming Woman. Legend had it that her spirit was trapped in the house, forever tormented, forever seeking peace. Liam remembered the tales that had been told around campfires, stories of blood-curdling screams echoing from the house at night. Stories of those who ventured in never came out the same. Some even claimed to have seen her, a translucent figure standing at the edge of the forest, beckoning them closer. The closer they got to the house, the more intense the sensations became. The air grew colder, the footsteps louder. It was was as if the house itself was testing them, gauging their fear. In the corner of one room, they found a rocking chair moving by itself. In another, a door slammed shut, as if the house was trying to keep them in. A sudden crash from above made them freeze. They could hear something moving, dragging itself closer. Terror tightened its grip. This wasn't just a prank. There was something evil in this house. They needed to get out now. Then they remembered the legend of the screaming woman. Was she the one haunting this house? Had she been imprisoned here all these years? The thought sent shivers down their spines. As the minutes ticked by, the darkness seemed to press in on them. The whispering of the wind grew louder, taking on a sinister tone. The house was coming alive, not in a welcoming way, but in a manner that reeked of malice. The air grew heavy, the shadows deeper. They could feel eyes boring into them, watching their every move. The feeling was so intense, it was like being hunted. Suddenly, the lights flickered. One by one, the bulbs went out, plunging them into absolute darkness. A scream tore through the night. It was a woman's voice, filled with anguish and rage. Before anyone could react, a figure darted past them. They couldn't see who it was, but they could feel the presence brush against them, cold and menacing. The forest seemed to hold its breath, the darkness pressing in on them. When the scream died down, leaving an eerie silence in its wake, they fumbled for their phones, their beams of light cutting through the darkness. The rocking chair was still swaying gently, and the door that was ajar was now wide open, revealing a room that was empty, yet somehow disturbed. They called out, their voices echoing in the vast emptiness. The only response was the sound of their own fear. And then they saw it, or rather, they felt it. Something was moving in the darkness, gliding past them, just out of sight. Panic surged through them. Whatever was in that room had seen them. They stumbled back, bumping into each other in their haste to get away. Their breaths came in ragged gasps, their hearts pounding against their ribs. One of them, unable to bear the tension any longer, turned and ran. Without a word, they bolted down the hallway, desperate to escape the unseen presence that was now hunting them. They burst through the front door and into the night. Behind them, they heard a crash, followed by a low growl that seemed to emanate from the very depths of the house. Outside, the darkness felt comforting. The forest, though still menacing, seemed less threatening. They huddled together, their bodies shaking, their eyes darting into the darkness beyond the circle of their flashlight. It felt like hours, but in reality, it was only minutes. When they finally managed to calm their racing hearts, they realized one of them was missing. They searched the area, calling his name, their voices echoing into the night. But there was no answer. He had vanished. As dawn began to break, casting an anemic light over the landscape, they found him, or rather, they found what was left of him. He was lying on the ground near the house, his body contorted at an unnatural angle. Blood had soaked through his clothes, staining the grass a deeper shade of green. His face was pale, his eyes wide and staring. They didn't need to be told twice. They fled, stumbling over each other in their haste to get away from the house. The screaming woman had claimed another victim. As they ran, they could hear the sounds of pursuit, the heavy footsteps pounding the ground, getting closer. They didn't dare look back. They just kept running until they reached the safety of the town. Only one of them came out of the house that night, trembling and bloodied. They whispered the horrifying truth, their voices shaking with terror. The stories were never myths. She's real and she's still inside. The camera pans out slowly, fading into the darkness as the sound of distant screaming echoes in the wind. If you love chilling horror stories like this, subscribe for more. And tell me, would you dare to step into the haunted house in the dark forest?